Bastrop ISD Memorial Stadium for tonight's non-district matchup between the home Bastrop Bears and visiting team Austin Reagan Raiders from District 12-5A Division 1. I'm your host, Robert Artis, joined by my co-host, John Williams.
Good evening, Robert. We are looking forward to kickoff at 7 p.m. for the second game of this new football season for the Bears. This contest tonight against the Reagan Raiders is one the Bears are looking forward to, but not overlooking, as the Bears are coming off a nice win in their first game of the season last week, beating Bryan Rudder 36-14. Reagan, on the other hand, lost their opener to Bastrop's in-school district rival, the Cedar Creek Eagles, by a score of 31-0. The Bears last week in their win looked very good on both sides of the ball and are very optimistic about the new season, led by quarterback junior Desmond Young, who had a solid first game before leaving in the third quarter with a minor injury. But Young is back tonight to finish where he left off last week against Rudder. Tonight the Bears will play the second of their three non-district games before district play begins Thursday, September 27th, against the Pflugerville Weiss Wolves at the field in Pflugerville. The weather for tonight's game could make things interesting. There are several thunderstorms in the area that we will be keeping our eyes on, and the temperature at game time looks to be about 85 degrees. We expect there to be some possible weather delays tonight if thunderstorms get a little too close to us here at Memorial Stadium.
John, you mentioned the Bears' score from last week against Bryan Rudder, a 36-14 win to start the season 1-0. There were several players for the Bears who had big games last week. On the defensive line, Zevin Burnett, Simeon Thompson, and Robert Spurlock disrupted the Rudder running game all night. Linebacker Tyron Smith did lots of damage on his own, coming up with big tackles for the Bears. On offense, the story was new junior quarterback Desmond Young, who was 5 for 11 through the air for 160 yards and a touchdown. Young was also the leading rusher for the Bears with 9 carries for 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. Receiving for the Bears had Cedric Tarver coming up with a nice catch and run of 63 yards for a touchdown, and Hayden Jones did a great catch and run of 70 yards down to the Rudder 5-yard line that set up another Bears touchdown. Bears senior running back Jaquay Cretin had 27 yards on 14 carries with a touchdown, and he'll look to be a bigger part of the offense for the Bears tonight and hopefully get off to a faster start than he did last week. For total offense last week, the Bears had 311 yards from scrimmage with 98 yards rushing and 213 passing. On defense, the Bears held Rudder to a total of 172 yards from scrimmage with 82 yards on the ground and 90 in the air. The special teams unit for the Bears looked improved over last year as well, with junior kicker Carlos Martinez taking over the place kicking duties. Martinez was 1 for 3 on field goal attempts, but one he made was a 38-yarder, something the Bears can maybe look to this season for possibly putting 3 points on the board instead of feeling like they got to go for it on fourth down whenever they're in clear field goal range. Tonight's game against the Austin Reagan Raiders will be interesting for the Bears with their head coach Todd Patman. Patman used to be a coach on the Reagan staff. I got a chance to speak with Coach Patman this week. Actually, got to speak with him a few minutes ago about what to expect for tonight's game against the Reagan Raiders.
Good evening. We are here with Coach Todd Patman of the Bastrop Bears here at Memorial Stadium out on Highway 21 for tonight's matchup with the Austin Reagan Raiders and the Bastrop Bears. So the second non-district game tonight for the Bears. Tonight, Coach, the Bears get a Thursday night game, something that we haven't seen in the past few years, but with Austin Reagan, we get an opponent that is familiar to both yourself and Bastrop. You yourself have a history with Reagan, while they have a storied past with us, most notably the state the state regional final back in 2001.
Yes, we were in the same district a few years ago. We split with them those few years. They had a great running back in Mobile Carr who ended up going to U of H. And, prior to that, I spent 3 years there as a head coach, so I'm very familiar with, the Reagan history, very proud history. There are probably one of few high schools that has 3 national championships along with state championships. And so a lot of pride there, and when I saw them arrive today with their Columbia blue on, it did bring back some memories.
Offensively, there was a huge difference last week as we noticed there was a real big improvement in the discipline. While the past 2 season openers had us well over 100 yards and double digits in penalties, that seemed to be it wasn't quite perfect, but it was a heck of a lot better this year. Is that something that you guys focused on as a staff, or just more decisive leadership from some of your key offensive players?
I think it was a whole. I think, to be honest, our kids were embarrassed about the scrimmage. We're not going to get into that, but there were just some things said about our team and about our program, and they took it personally, as the staff did, and we wanted to show that we have a championship state of mind. And so in order to do that, you have to limit the penalties, you have to limit extra snaps for your opponent, and they really listened to that message and took heed of it. And so hopefully we'll continue that tonight and try to limit mistakes.
Defensively, the improvement this season has been probably the biggest thing that stands out to us watching the game last week. Focusing on just one aspect of it, the secondary. That unit did a really good job last week in supporting the run, maintaining coverage downfield, and not giving up plays. What do you have to say about those guys as a unit? They both when you guys had 4 guys and 5 guys out there, they looked really, really sharp.
I tell you, they've done a great job of being receptive to the coaching. You know, and when you play in the secondary, you're the last line of defense. When you make a mistake, everyone sees it. You know, they don't see those 50 plays prior. And so that's kind of something that Coach Herklotz and myself, you know, harp on our kids all week, is that you're the last line of defense. Sometimes it's just getting the guy down, but always be in position. You know, don't give up the bomb. If they catch it, tackle them. You know, and I thought they did a great job of not being noticeable, I should say, because if the secondary is noticeable, that meant that you gave up some long home run bombs or long runs, or someone's running through your secondary. So those 4 guys, and then even the backups, did a great job of coming in and playing against Rudder, who had really good speed. So looking forward to seeing how they match up tonight. Reagan has some big receivers. They have a couple that can really run, and I think our kids are excited about the challenge.
Coach, one last thing. We understand that the kicker that we had last week, kind of a transplant from the soccer team, this was his first game ever, first football game ever, not just varsity. But even though a couple of them weren't so pretty, he actually, whenever he did get the foot on the ball, made some really nice kicks, and that looks like something that might be a strength for us as we go down the road.
Very much so. I think that sometimes is what's lost when you get a lead. Is, you know, you can still work your special teams. And so he had several opportunities to get out there and kick live extra points and field goals, and we think he'll continue to get better. He is new to football, has a strong leg, a long stroke, and so kind of an inside joke, he had taped his shoes together last week, so a couple of his kicks, they were kind of, you know, flapping in the wind. So we ordered some new shoes for him. I don't think he really wants to wear them, but we'll continue to work on him, and just, you know, if we can keep the head coach away from him when he misses kicks, we'll be okay.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, thanks, and we're really looking forward to tonight's game against Austin Reagan.
That was Bears head coach Todd Patman. And, Robert, one of the things that kind of stands out to me about that interview is that they've been talking a lot with the kids about limiting those penalties. We noticed it last week that there was a cut down in the number of penalties that Bears offense had and defense, and that was something in the last couple of seasons that we've noticed were some of the Achilles heels of these Bears teams was some of the penalties that took place. But hopefully Coach Patman's got the boys understanding that those penalties are killers and that they'll be able to limit those going forward. The Bears' opponent tonight, the Reagan Raiders out of District 12, 5A Division I, are coming off a 31-0 loss last week at the hands of the Cedar Creek Eagles. And head coach of the Reagan Raiders is A.J. Mustafa. The offensive coordinator is a name that longtime Longhorn football fans might remember, which is Mike Adams, who was a receiver for the Longhorns back in the 90s. Reagan is coming off a 2-8 season last year with a 2-4 district record and is now in the new Division I classification of 5A, although they're kind of a smaller school at only around 1,200 kids enrollment. And along with all the other 5A Austin ISD schools, they make up that new district. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine picks the Raiders to finish 6th out of 8 teams in this new district, just ahead of Austin Lanier and Austin Travis. If last week's score against Cedar Creek is any indication, there's a lot the Raiders need to work on to get the ball moving on offense this year. And on defense, the Raiders gave up a total of 314 yards from scrimmage to the Eagles, 171 on the ground and 143 in the air. The Bastrop Bears will try to continue their balanced attack tonight and look to be playing an opponent in the Raiders that might be still ironing out a lot of kinks before they begin district play in a few weeks.
John, this matchup with the Reagan Raiders really does look like the one that the Bears can certainly win. I'll come back with my 3 keys to victory a little bit before kickoff, but first I'd like to run through the District 13 5A Division II scoreboard from the first week of games. The Elgin Wildcats fell 34-21 to Austin LBJ. Georgetown Eastview Patriots lost 38-21 to Round Rock Westwood. Marble Falls Mustangs got blanked 22-0 by Canyon Lake. Brenham Cubs, the going into the season district favorites preseason, were beat at home 61-21 by Magnolia West. Pflugerville Weiss Wolves lost 23-3 in their first ever varsity game against Leander High School. The Leander Glen Grizzlies, man, it's a mouthful, lost to Liberty Hill 49-21, also in their first ever varsity game. And like we mentioned earlier, the Cedar Creek Eagles beat this Austin Reagan team that we're playing tonight 31-0. So the district finished with a 2-6 record for the first week of play in the new 2018 season, with only the Bastrop ISD schools, Cedar Creek, and your Bastrop Bears representing the win column for the district.
Robert, this week's schedule for District 13-5A Division II is as follows. Cedar Creek plays Austin Aikens here at Bastrop Memorial tomorrow night. Leander Glenn plays Round Rock McNeil at home. Pflugerville Weiss plays Canyon Lake on the road. Brenham plays Waller, also on the road. Marble Falls is away against Burnett. Georgetown Eastview is also away against New Braunfels Canyon. And Elgin plays in Bryan against Bastrop's opponent from last week, Brian Rudder. Robert, we're going to break it here and be back with a weather update and Robert's 3 keys to victory and the national anthem in just a few moments. You are listening to Bastrop Bears football on KMAC Sports, part of the Vype Media Network.
Bastrop Bears football on KMAC Sports is proudly sponsored by the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club, with the support of parents, volunteers, and great local businesses that take pride in their community, as well as help from great fans just like you. Your combined donations, contributions, and continued support help keep the Bear tradition alive. Find out more about the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club and what you can do at bastropbears.org.
And we are back here at Bastrop Memorial Stadium. The skies look pretty clear, although we do see some weather possibly developing in the area. We'll certainly have to keep our eye on it tonight. National anthem will be coming in just 1 second. Robert, well, we got some time before the national anthem. Do you want to talk about the Bastrop Bears 3 keys to victory tonight against Reagan?
Yeah, I think the Bears need to establish the offensive line for key number 1. Last week, the line had a difficult time establishing the line of scrimmage. Let's see tonight if they can open up some holes for the running game to complement what looks to be like an emerging passing attack. Key number 2 would be just keep the big plays from happening. The defense did a really good job last week of definitely keeping the big plays in front of them. We didn't. Rudder had a really hard time getting any big dynamite things going down the field. I think if that continues tonight, that would bode well for the Bears. And I also got to say, the key number 3 is just to play four full quarters. Last week we saw the Bears lose their focus a little bit with some sloppy plays there at the end. The game was effectively over, and a lot of the backups had a chance to get in the game. That's going to be expected, but for the Bears to make a run for the playoffs and possible district championship, I think it's time to start tonight to start working on that perfect wire-to-wire game.
All right, thanks for those 3 keys of victory. We're going to take it down to the field now for the playing of our national anthem.
Once the colors are presented, the playing of the national anthem will be performed by the Bastrop High School Band.
That was your Bastrop Marching Band playing the national anthem. Color Guard is making their way off of the field now, and we are just moments away from kickoff here.
Yeah, Bastrop wearing for the first time tonight, kind of a pewter gray uniforms to match the helmets that they've got. So they're all in all gray with maroon socks. John, I was saying it kind of looks like a thunderstorm gray, if you will. Looks like the color of some of these clouds out here tonight. But definitely a pretty sharp look here. Seen it for the first time. Numbers are pretty easy to pick up as well. White numbers really stand out. Pretty nice. Looks like earlier in the coin toss, I think the Bears are going to be receiving to start the game. I think they're going to be receiving from the south end zone, working towards the north. Not seeing much of a wind tonight, despite all the storms in the area, but the flags that are flying at half staff down there are pretty still. So it's kind of a muggy night. The temperature is definitely down a little bit. I'd say we're probably down into the 80s now with after all this cloud cover that we've had here in the late afternoons. But looks like it's going to be a pretty nice evening for some high school football, John.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and it's interesting. We're playing on a Thursday night. First time Bastrop's played on a Thursday night in quite some time. Actually, the last one I remember them playing on a Thursday night was a playoff game against Cedar Park 3 seasons ago, a game they lost to the eventual state champion, Cedar Park Timberwolves. That was the last Thursday night game I can remember for the Bears. But Reagan comes in from Austin ISD. They're used to playing Thursday night football games in that they share Nelson Stadium with LBJ and a couple of the other Austin ISD schools. So it's not unusual to them. And the teams are getting special teams instructions here at the end of warm-up period before the game will get kicked off here.
Yeah, and Austin Reagan, it's a team, they certainly took a beating last week from Cedar Creek. You never really know what to make of these first games of the year. Sometimes it's just jitters for kids. You don't really know. We have no idea how good Cedar Creek is going to be. This could be a really strong year for them. Looking down on the field, Austin Reagan, man, I think there's some really good-looking kids, man. Some really tall guys. We're watching them warm up. They move really well. They're really fast. Could have just been an organization thing. Just have to kind of knock out some of the kinks in that first game. So we'll see. Definitely not a team for the Bastrop Bears to look past. Austin Reagan in the Columbia blue pants with a white top and the Columbia blue number. They've got the white helmet with the kind of oblong looking R in the shape of a football. John, I think that's Reagan is one of those teams that has just never really changed their uniforms. As far back as I can remember, Austin Reagan has had that same design on the helmet and same colors and just basically the whole same scheme.
Yeah, and like Coach Patman said, it's program with a lot of rich tradition, a lot of state championships over the years, and good program, good history. So we're about to kick off in number 40. Jackson Xavier is going to kick it for Reagan, and back deep to receive is number 2, Kalen Hodge. It's a kind of a short kick. It's fielded by Cedric Tarver, takes it at the 30, and he's off and up to the 40, so a good return there by Tarver. Gets good field position for the Bears right at the beginning of the game. Tarver kind of playing one of those up-back positions, fielded it at about his own 25-yard line, took it about 15 yards up to the 40 where the Bears offense will start.
Yeah, I just think Cedric just on that one, catching that ball in the up-back position, didn't really have enough time to get the head of steam up like he likes to get. So maybe it had about 5 more yards, he could have hit a full stride.
So here's Desmond Young to lead the Bears offense. Next to him is number 12, Donovan Strong, just to Young's left. There's a couple receivers out to the left and to the right. And Young gets in his position here. It's a pass play right at the beginning, and it's a long pass play to Cedric Tarver. Cedric catches that ball, and is he out of bounds? No, he is not. He is off to the races. That is a touchdown for the Bears. First play, throw it up to a jump pass to Cedric Tarver for a touchdown Bears. 11:43 to go in the first quarter.
One thing I was telling Coach Patman this week, John, was we really hope we can catch Cedric Tarver in full stride sometime and just get him moving down the field, because we really haven't seen him open up like we know that he can. Didn't catch him in full stride that time, just kind of lobbed the pass up to him, but he just used his height and jumping ability. Great hands, didn't even get in his body at all, just all hands, and he was off to the races.
And here's Carlos Martinez on to kick the extra point. Martinez looking for the snap. Here's the snap, and the kick is up, and that kick is good. So just like that, one play from scrimmage, it is Bears 7, Reagan nothing. 11:43 to go in the first quarter. We'll be back in just one moment. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports, part of the Vype Media Network.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008. And you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you're needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports. 11:43 to go in the first quarter. Bears up 7-0. Had one play from scrimmage. It was a 60-yard touchdown pass. Desmond Young to Cedric Tarver. Cedric was in double coverage, but he just jumped up, caught it, avoided a couple tackles, tiptoed the sideline, ran all the way to the house to make it 7-0 Bears.
Yeah, and I had a feeling they might go to Tarver on that first play there. Tarver was looking in and looking like he was ready to try out the one-on-one matchup with the Reagan cornerback there and pay dirt for the Bears.
So here's Carlos Martinez on to kick off for the Bears. Puts his foot into it. Kind of a short kick. It's going to be fielded at the 10. He's up to the 20. He's got running room before he is tackled. That was number 4, Nate Clark, sophomore with the return. So a decent return. Reagan will start with the ball on their own 30-yard line.
Reagan got a lot of young kids on this roster, a lot of juniors and sophomores. These guys will be definitely kind of building for the future here. Some big offensive linemen here, too. Some really good size on the interior line. Like you heard Coach Patman say, they got some good size at receiver as well.
All right, so here's Reagan with the ball for the first time. Quarterback's got a number 1. It's Uriel Montelongo. And here's a snap to him, but that is going to be a false start penalty on Reagan.
Delay game.
Oh, actually, sorry, it's a delay of game, as we can hear from the referee. So they were not ready to snap that ball and get their first play of the game going. Back them up 5 yards. It's going to be 1st and 15. Ball's going to be back at the 25-yard line. Uriel Montelongo, number 1 for Reagan, is in the shotgun. He's got a running back to his right, 3 receivers out to the left, 1 receiver out to the right for this package. Here's a snap to Montelongo. He's rolling right and then looks to run with it. He tucks it and picks up not much yardage. I don't know if his forward progress is going to get him any yards, as a matter of fact. Zevon Burnett in on the tackle, came in from the defensive end position to bring down Montelongo, and that was no gain, going to bring up 2nd and 15.
Yeah, the tackle on that right side of the Reagan offense just not able to seal off Zevon there. Zevon getting around him, working around him, and making a stop.
So here's Montelongo. Angus Christian is the running back with him in the backfield. He hands it to Christian, and that play's going nowhere. Simeon Thompson came in and disrupted that, and that is going to bring up 3rd and long for Reagan.
Simeon looked like he just read it the whole way. He just comes storming through the line and hammers the ball carrier there, really sending a message there with this first drive for the Bear defense.
So Bears defense looking pretty good going into 3rd and 18 now. Ball on Reagan's own 22-yard line. Here's a snap, and it's a bad snap. Montelongo can just do nothing but pick it up. Actually, the running back, Angus Christian is the full name there. He was able to snag it off the ground, and that's no gain. Going to bring up 4th and long. Clock moving, about 10:10 to go in the first quarter.
So we'll get the first look at the Reagan punting unit here. Looks like Montelongo is back in for punting duties as well. Not set back very deep, so Cedric Tarver might have a chance to he can get a hand on it and see if he can uncork one here.
Yeah, Cedric standing on the 50-yard line, ready to field this punt.
Referee looks like he said something to Montelongo there, was sending him off. I don't know if he was sending him off or okay, he's back on.
Yeah, he is back on. Not sure what that conversation was about, but. And we've got a stop in the play. Referee is calling for a stop of the clock. Now he starts it again. And Montalongo will hit this punt about at his own 10-yard line. There's a snap back to Montalongo. It's a pretty decent punt. It backs Tarver up to about his own 40 where he fields it. He's got some running room. He's up into Reagan territory, back to the 40. He's tiptoeing the sidelines, and he is pushed out of bounds on the far side of the field. There is a flag on the play on the Reagan 40-yard line, somewhere into the return. We'll have to check to see what the call is there. Usually that's against the return team, and so might have a blocking penalty, bring this back a little bit from where that flag is at the Reagan 40-yard line.
Yeah, Tarver just trying to get to the outside there, just kind of runs out of room.
Yeah, it's a block in the back on the receiving team, so that is going to come back a little bit.
Number 6.
That was number 6, Fazion Madison, called for a block in the back. So they are bringing that back to, let's see where they put the ball down. Looks like about the Bastrop's own 49-yard line, I believe, is where they're going to put that. Yeah, so it'll be 1st and 10, Bastrop on their own 49-yard line. Here comes Desmond Young, and in the backfield with him is number 12, Donovan Strong. A couple receivers out to either side. Ball on the right hash mark, where Young will start the offense again. Here's a snap back to Young. He's looking to pass again. It's a swing pass out to Donovan Strong out in the flat. Strong breaks a tackle, but doesn't get more than a yard or so.
Yeah, I think that might have been. Yeah, it looks like the 3 looks like kind of like a 1 from the side there. That was actually Eddie Brown.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
Junior running back.
Yeah, junior running back Eddie Brown in the backfield. Sorry, that was not Donovan Strong. And here's a handoff to Eddie Brown. Eddie Brown comes across the left end. Big collision with number 23, Oscar Becerra for Reagan. But that's a big pickup for Eddie Brown. Not quite a first down, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 2 into Reagan territory.
Yeah,
ball
Brown
on the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Brown's going to come out. It was a pretty hard lick that he took there, right in the head. So he's going to step out, and Jaquay's going to check in.
Yeah, and there's a handoff to Jaquay. Jaquay's got running room, but he stumbles right at the first down marker. I don't think he's going to have enough yardage to get the first down. It looks like he's going to be about half a yard short, but it looks like Bastrop is going to go for it on 4th and half a yard. And here's a handoff. Actually, it's a keeper by quarterback Desmond Young. Fake the handoff to Jaquay Cretin. He's got enough for the first down. They blew the play dead. The ball squirted out of Young's hands well after the whistle. So first down for the Bears. Ball's going to be placed at about the Reagan 40-yard line for the new set of downs.
Reagan looking pretty physical here, giving up some yards, but they're not giving them up easy, laying some real hard hits on the Bastrop ball carriers.
All right, so here's Desmond Young back in the shotgun. And that's another handoff to Jaquay Cretin. Jaquay was able to surge off his right tackle for about 2 yards. Let's see where they mark him. Actually, it's just a pickup of 1. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9. Ball's on the 38-yard line. Clock moving, 7:35 to go. Bastrop with a 7-0 lead. Here's Desmond Young back in the shotgun again. Jaquay Cretin to his right. Desmond Young drops back to pass. It's a long pass. There's a man open. It is caught, and that is a touchdown. That was number 3, Cole Tidwell, who got behind the secondary for Reagan, and that is a long 38-yard touchdown strike to Cole Tidwell. Touchdown, Bears, looking to make it 14-0 if the extra point is good.
Yeah, Tidwell just he was kind of one of the third-team quarterback last year. We always saw some really good speed from him. Coach Patman saying he's going to play some receiver and defensive back this year. Just got right behind there, made a nice catch and run.
And so here's Carlos Martinez on to kick the extra point. Snaps down, the kick is up, and that kick is good. So with 7:18 to go in the first quarter, your score is Bastrop Bears 14, Reagan Raiders 0. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008, and you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you are needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Reagan Raiders nothing. 7:18 to go in the first quarter. Long touchdown strike, 38 yards from Desmond Young to Cole Tidwell. Cole just got behind the Reagan defense, and Young threw a nice little pass, floated it right in there to Tidwell. Tidwell caught it, took it into the end zone.
Young showing what he can do if he can get that ball out in front of the receivers. He's got really good speed in the receiving core of the Bears, so if he can just get these passes, lead these guys into the zones and catch them in full stride, you could see some magic happen. So here we go. The kickoff coming here from Martinez.
Oh, and it's a little squib kick. Oh, my gosh, I think Bastrop came up with it.
Yeah, John, it looked like an actual onside kick. They kick it right to number 57, Yaniel Valier, and the Bears come up with it. Kind of a surprise little there on the part of the Bears. Looked like it was totally intentional, and a nice little onside kick. Bears will take over.
Yeah, they kicked it right at him. He couldn't field it, and then the Bears jumped on it. So that is a pretty interesting call there by Coach Patman and the coaching staff to onside kick it after a touchdown. And so here comes the Bears offense again. Desmond Young back on. Hanan Jones back with him to his left at running back. Couple receivers out to either side. And here's Desmond Young, takes the snap, hands it off to Hanan Jones. Hanan Jones fumbles it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, but they recovered. They got lucky. I can't see the number that pounced on it. That was number 50, Jude Dennis, offensive lineman, junior. Hanan Jones hit the hole fast, but when he got hit, looks like the helmet hit the ball, popped right out of Hanan Jones' hands, and Jude Dennis alertly swiped it off the ground there. It's a loss of 2 yards, going to bring up 2nd and 12. Ball's on the Reagan 47-yard line. Empty backfield for Desmond Young. Sends Hanan Jones in motion. Hands off to Hanan Jones on a jet sweep. Hanan's looking for the corner. He's got it. There's a flag right at the middle of the field. Hanan, if this play holds up, picks up probably 4 yards, but I have a feeling there's going to be a blocking call on Bastrop for this. Let's check to see what the call is. Yeah, it's a holding. So that's a 10-yarder. That's going to bring up 2nd and a long 22, I believe.
Yeah, that's what happens with those jet sweeps sometimes. If they take a while to develop, those offensive linemen try to hold that block for just an extra second, and it's kind of a gray area there. And you get a holding call, and that sucker's coming back.
All right, so they are marking that off right now. And we'll see where they place it. Yeah, that's going all the way back to the Bastrop 43-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 22. And here's Desmond Young in the shotgun. Got a running back to his right. That running back is Quay Cretin. Young just keeps it and tries to get forward. He does. He gets back all the way to the original line of scrimmage when this set of downs started before he is pushed out of bounds. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 10. He picked up a good chunk of yards to make it 3rd and a reasonable amount. Well, actually, they marked him out at the Reagan 47-yard line, so he didn't quite get back all the way to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 from the 47-yard line.
Showing some good speed there. Wow, he got around the corner, and he looked like he was just off to the races.
Yeah, Reagan was able to push him out of bounds, or he would have been able to get a few more yards. Here's Young looking to pass. It's an in route to Cedric Tarver, who catches it, has enough for the first down. Cedric came from the far left wideout position, just ran an in route, and Desmond Young hit him in stride. Enough for the first down. That ball is placed on the 29-yard line of the Raiders. Good first down pickup.
That could be a good look for the Bears this year.
All right, so here's a kind of a busted play. Handoff to Jaquay Cretin. Jaquay's looking for space on the right-hand side. Did not get it. Looked like number 3, Omarion Neal, sophomore for Reagan with the tackle. But that is a loss of about 4 yards. Going to bring up 2nd and 14. Ball is now on the 33-yard line of Reagan. Here's Desmond Young in the shotgun, takes the snap, looking to pass. He's looking deep for Tarver. Tarver's got to step on his man. That is a touchdown. Wow. Tarver beat number 25 for Reagan. Don't even have a number on that, but he just ran a fly route, Robert. Got behind his defensive back that was guarding him, and Desmond Young laid it in very nicely to Cedric Tarver. Touchdown, Bears.
John, I'll tell you, at this point in the season, it looks like Cedric Tarver is just going to be almost impossible to stop if he can get that ball in full stride. He just laid out, nice hands, perfect pass from Desmond Young. 20-0 Bears.
Here's Diego Cruz on to kick that extra point, and he makes it. And so that is now 21-0 Bears, 5:21 to go in the first quarter. We're going to break it here. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
Purchase a copy of this or any KMAX broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmaxsports.com. That's info@kmaxsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmaxsports.com. Bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAX Sports.
Bears football, KMAX Sports. Bears up 21-0 in the first quarter over the Reagan Raiders. There's 5:21 to go. That was a long touchdown pass from Desmond Young to Cedric Tarver. That's Tarver's second touchdown of the night. That is Desmond Young's third touchdown pass of the night. Things are looking pretty good.
Tarver now well over 100 yards for the night. We're not even all the way through the end of the first quarter. It's going to be, it looks like a big night for the passing game.
Yep, sure is. All right, so here is number 24, Diego Cruz, on to kick this. Cruz getting some action while Martinez takes a break. That ball squirts through the back of the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback ball. Be on the 25-yard line for Reagan. Be only the second time Reagan has got the ball tonight. So here we are, 21-0 lead in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's a big night for the Bears. You know, it's Reagan's looking very physical, a little bit shell-shocked, a little bit inexperienced. But the Bears are just going to keep rolling, being able to capitalize on that onside kick called by Coach Patman. But, man, I tell you what, Young to Tarver, that's looking like a nice connection, and the Bears are just firing on all cylinders right now, John.
All right, so here's Uriel Montelongo in the shotgun, takes the snap. Swing pass out to the left, and that is caught. Big hit by Tyron Smith coming in from the linebacker position. Number 22 for Reagan caught that ball. That was Vontre Harper. He picks up about a yard. As Tyron got to that ball quickly, laid a nice lick on him. A 2nd and 9 ball on Reagan's own 26-yard line.
Yeah, we're seeing that aggressiveness from the Bear defense. They are really aggressive. Looks like they've sniffed out the play, controlling the line of scrimmage and flying to the ball.
And there is a play that looks to me like Tyron Smith tried to read the snap count and busted through to give a lick to running back number 13, Angus Christian, but I believe they are going to get Tyron for offsides, and they are. Yeah, so Tyron was called for offsides. He jumped a little early, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty. He's going to bring up 2nd and 4. They're going to move that ball all the way up to the Reagan 31-yard line. So 2nd and 4, 4:40 to go in the first quarter. Bears up 21-0.
Yeah, Montalongo, just like he delayed that snap count for just a second to get Smith offside.
All right, so here's Montalongo in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's back to pass. He is under pressure. He is rolling to his left, and he just has to get rid of it. Throws it out of bounds. No Reagan receiver anywhere in the vicinity. He was just under a lot of pressure and had to get rid of it. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 4. Clock stopped with 4:25 to go. Ball is on the Reagan 31-yard line. So we'll check the 3rd down personnel here for Bastrop's defense.
Simeon Thompson was in the backfield before the ball just about got to the quarterback, and he just had to make that thing, get it out of there.
All right, so here's first big 3rd down play of the night for the Bears defense. And that looks like a false start to me. Reagan did not handle their snap count very well, and it is. The umpire's coming in and giving the false start signal to the referee. And that is going to bring back the ball 5 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 9. Ball placed back at the Reagan 26-yard line. So a really makeable conversion yardage spot for 3rd down at 3rd and 4 just became 3rd and 9 for Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan just digging themselves a hole. Like we were saying earlier in the game, it was first game jitters. Looks like they're still with the Reagan Raiders tonight.
Here's a snap back to Montalongo. He's going deep, and he has got that picked off. Faison Madison picks it off, coming in from the safety spot. Read it very well. That was intended receiver number 23, Oscar Becerra. But Faison Madison picks it off at his own 40-yard line, falls right to the ground with it, and that is Bastrop's ball again.
Faison just doing a good job playing center field just like he did last week against Rudder. Just kind of reading the quarterback, coming over, closing down on the ball, and making a nice interception. Good hands by Faison there. Kind of reaches out, gets it on the fingertips, and really good-looking ball there. So Faison is on the INT board again.
Yep, 2nd of the season. All right, so Bastrop with the ball, up 21-0. They're getting some final instructions from their coaches over on the sideline before they come out. And I'm not sure what the flag was for.
The interception by Madison stands. There was a penalty flag on Reagan.
Okay, so it was a penalty flag on Reagan. Certainly the interception stands. And where that ball is going to be spotted, we're watching the referees mark it off. It looks like they're going into Reagan territory with it, and they are. So Bastrop will have a short field to work with.
The ball will be spotted inside Reagan territory up to 41-yard.
Yeah, they're going to put that ball down at the Reagan 41-yard line. So that was a 15-yard penalty. I'm not sure what the actual penalty was, but it was the 15-yard variety. So it'll be 1st and 10 in Reagan territory on the 41-yard line. 4:11 to go and a 21-point lead for the Bears. Here's a handoff to Young. He hands it off then to Jaquay Cretin. I'm sorry, the snap back to Young. Hands it off to Jaquay Cretin. Jaquay goes off left tackle and gets maybe 2 yards, maybe 3. Let's call it 2nd and 7. Ball is on the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Jaquay kind of still looking for that home run ball, though we haven't seen it pop off yet this year.
All right, so here's Desmond Young back in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He's looking to the left. Now he's scrambling left. He's holding the ball, and he's just going to tuck it and get out of bounds. Pursued by number 3 for Reagan, Omarion Neal, the sophomore, who pushes out Desmond Young. Desmond gets maybe half a yard. About half a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7. Ball is spotted on the 38-yard line of Reagan. As well as the passing game has been going tonight, my guess is they'll put it in the air again here on 3rd and long.
Yeah, possibly. Looks like Eddie Brown has checked back into the backfield for the Bears.
And here's a snap back to Young. He's looking to pass. He's got a man open. There is probably some interference there, but that was number 22 who catches it, Nathan Blair, who brings it down at the 10-yard line. We're actually the 9-yard line of Reagan. We're going to spot it. Kind of a dangerous pass to throw there, but Desmond Young found the one spot that Nathan Blair could go up and get it. It looked to me like he was interfered with as well, but kept his concentration, came down with the ball, so it's 1st and goal on the 9-yard line of Reagan. Bastrop's going fast. Snap back to Young. Young is looking for a man. He's rolling right now. He's got to just kind of run with it off to the right-hand side. He's off to the races. Oh, my gosh, he just leapfrogged a man and got all the way down to the 1-yard line. So a nice run there by Desmond. He's going to get himself hurt if he does that too much, but worked out well for him that time where he leapfrogged a Reagan defender before coming to the ground on the 1-yard line, 2nd and goal.
Nice looking play if you're a high school kid, but I'm sure it makes the coaches cringe.
So here it is, 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line. Desmond Young in the backfield with him, Jaquay Cretin to his right. Here's a handoff to Jaquay, and Jaquay is, I believe, in for a touchdown. He is. So there you go. 4th touchdown of the quarter for the Bears to start this game. It's 27-0 with the extra point ensuing. Carlos Martinez coming back on to hit this extra point.
All right, so Jaquay gets on the board with the TD. So Martinez puts it through the upright, and with 2:36 to go in the game, in the first quarter there, Bears are up 28-0 over the Reagan Raiders. We'll take a quick break right here.
Your technical difficulties that we are dropping off, and we stopped the streaming and tried to start it back up again. Hopefully we are in good shape with the broadcast here.
Yeah, so if you've just missed that, the Bears are now leading 28-0 over the Reagan Raiders with 2:36 to go in the first quarter. Sorry if you lost us there momentarily. We were hearing that we lost some streaming there for just a second. The 1-yard run by Jaquay Cretin caps off what is looking to be a very, very dominant night for the Bastrop Bears. Jaquay making that run after Desmond Young makes a little 8-yard scamper there to take it down. He was looking for the end zone, but just came up short. So Bears will be kicking it off here again. We've got number 43, Carlos Martinez, the junior kicker for the Bears. Tees it up on the 40-yard line. He sends it deep. On the receiving end, that is number 4, Nate Clark for the Raiders. Runs into a whole group there of Bastrop defenders and gets it out to the 30-yard line.
All right, so hopefully we are back. Hopefully our problems we were having with the broadcast are cleared up. Not sure about that yet, but the Bastrop Bears have a 28-0 lead, 2:29 to go in the first quarter.
Raiders have the football 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
All right, so you heard it over the PA there on our crowd mic. Raiders with the ball 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line. Quarterback Uriel Montelongo takes the snap. He's back to pass. And he's got a man who's got enough yardage for the first down before he is pushed out of bounds. That was number 22, Vontre Harper, with a nice catch. And Harper just gets out of bounds quickly after picking up the first down. And that ball is going to be spotted at the Reagan 44-yard line. 14-yard pickup there for Harper.
First down and 10.
All right. And here's Montelongo with the snap. And there are flags everywhere. I believe that is another false start penalty against Reagan. I'll have to check. It is. That's false start against Reagan. So that backs him up 5 yards. And that will bring up 1st and 15, ball back to the Reagan 39-yard line. Clock stopped with 2:18 to go. Bastrop with a 28-point lead.
Seeing some clouds off to the north there, John. I'll have to check the radar here in a second, but hopefully they're moving off and we don't get any lightning or rain delays here, as the Bastrop Bears have got all the momentum in this one here in the first quarter.
All right, so here's Uriel Montelongo in the shotgun, 1st and 15. And that is a handoff to his running back, number 13, Angus Christian, who gets maybe a yard. Going to bring up 2nd and 14. Clock moving, 1:57 to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 14, ball on the 40-yard line. Not much running room there for Angus Christian.
Yeah, Reagan just having a hard time getting anything going with this Bear defensive line. They're really dominating the line of scrimmage here thus far.
All right, so here's Montelongo back in the shotgun with Angus Christian to his right. A couple receivers to either side. He's looking to pass. He's rolling right, and he's in heavy pursuit, and he just has to really just kind of throw it away. He short hops his receiver, number 88, Mitchell Victor, who's a sophomore. Going to bring up 3rd and 14 on their own 40-yard line. Bastrop's defense looking very good again tonight.
Yeah, John, the thing that I noticed this year is that I think in years past it's been kind of more of a read and react type defense. And we all know for our days, as we were speaking of earlier in the 90s, watching the old Gary Darnell UT Longhorns, it doesn't really work all that well with modern offenses. Bastrop looks like they're really getting after it now, and they're really bound and determined to shut down the play before it gets started.
All right, so here's Montelongo back to pass. He is almost picked off. That ball falls to the turf. Checking number there. That is number 7, Alex Crouch, senior defensive back for Bastrop, who almost picks it off. Ball falls to the turf. It's going to bring up 4th and 14. Ball on the 40-yard line. Montelongo back to punt. Let's see who Bastrop sends back to receive this punt. They send back the same number 7, Alex Crouch. He's going to be standing about on his own 30-yard line where he will receive the punt, or he'll be standing to receive the punt. Montelongo is going to hit it from his own 30-yard line. And we've got movement all over the line of the punt team for Reagan. That's another false start penalty. Penalty's really killing Reagan tonight. And there it is. There's the false start call. So there is 4th and now 19. Ball going back to the Reagan 35-yard line. Alex Crouch moves up to his own 35. And Montelongo is going to hit this punt on about his own 25-yard line. Here's a snap back to Montelongo. It's a bad snap. It gets behind him, and he is in heavy pursuit. He does manage to somehow get his foot on it and gets it off there, and Bastrop just gets away from it. It got back to about the Reagan 42-yard line where they're going to mark that dead. So another short field for Bastrop to start the night with.
Yeah, Bastrop just all over it, and it's been a really rough first quarter here for the Austin Reagan Raiders. This is one of the most discombobulated Raider teams I've seen. I've seen them play a few times over the years, and they're always going to bring the physicality. They're always going to be fast and strong and aggressive on the ball, but these guys are just having a heck of a time tonight.
All right, so here's Desmond Young back in the shotgun. Eddie Brown to his left. It's a pass out to the left side. That was number 25, Damian Piper, who caught that, senior, who catches it, picks up a yard or so, and then just kind of stumbles backwards with it, kind of tackles himself, and they're going to give him no gain on that play, so it's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Actually, they're going to give him a 1-yard gain on that. So the ball's on the 41-yard line. 2nd and 9. Eddie Brown in the backfield. It's a handoff to Brown. Brown hits the hole hard, goes forward, still on his feet before he is tackled. A pickup of about 7 yards. Going to bring up 3rd and 2. Ball on the Reagan 34-yard line. 3rd and 2.
Yeah, Brown's showing what can happen when you hit the hole fast here. It's something that we're used to seeing Jaquay doing, so I'm sure Jaquay is kind of taking note of that, and Jaquay just seems like a step slow hitting the hole these first couple of games thus far. Eddie Brown just really hitting that hole as it opened up and picks up a quick little chunk of change there. Bastrop looks like they can take a quick timeout here.
It's actually the end of quarter, Robert. That was the last play of the first quarter, so we're going to switch sides on the field here. We'll just leave it here for now. So good first quarter for the Bastrop Bears. 28-0 is your score at the end of that first quarter. Robert, what's the scoring summary for those 4 touchdowns that Bastrop scored?
Well, on the first play from scrimmage, there was a 60-yard pass from Desmond Young to Cedric Tarver. He threw kind of a high floater up there, and Tarver went up, grabbed it, and was off to the races. A really nice run there by Tarver. So on the first play from scrimmage, the Bears go up 7-0 after the successful conversion. Then with 7:18 to go, Young again on a 38-yard touchdown to Cole Tidwell. Caught Cole Tidwell in full stride. He was about 10 yards behind the last line of defense there for Reagan, and hauls that in for the second score of the night. Then with 5:21 to go, a 33-yard pass to Cedric Tarver, and that made the score then 21-0. And then to cap it off in the first quarter, at 2:36 to go at the very end there of the first quarter, Jaquay Cretan scores on a 1-yard plunge there for the Bears. All the conversions were good tonight, so that makes it 28-0 now at the end of the first quarter. And Bears will now be working from the north end zone to the south with the ball on the Reagan 34-yard line.
All right, so here's Desmond Young out in the shotgun. It's 3rd and 2. It's a keeper by Desmond Young. He tries to make some room, and he does out to the right side. He's got a first down. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He gets across the edge. It is a touchdown, Desmond Young. Wow. It looks like he was going to be bottled up, was going to get the first down, but then he just bounced it out to the edge, was able to outrun everybody around the right side and run it in for a touchdown. The 5th touchdown of the night for the Bears, and the second quarter has just started. Here is number 24, Diego Cruz, on to kick his second extra point of the evening. Snap is down. Kick is blocked. Wow. And Reagan's going to pick it up and try to run with it, but that's not going to do very much. So that is a blocked extra point attempt. And with 11:48 to go in the second quarter, the score is Bastrop 34, Reagan 0. We are going to break it here really quickly. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008. And you can help adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you're needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Bears football on KMAX Sports, 34-0. Bears are up early in the second quarter. Good night for the Bears so far.
Yeah, just totally dominating on both the defensive and offensive end. Reagan just looking, they've got the athletes, but they are just looking a little bit confused out there. A lot of sophomores and juniors, as I said earlier. Those guys are looking like they're a little bit shell-shocked, like they kind of maybe took a nap on the bus getting out here, because Bastrop is just making the wheels just come off the bus here.
All right, so here is the kick. It's fielded at the 10-yard line. It's up to the 20 and wrapped up at about the 20-yard line. So that's where Reagan will start with their first possession of the second quarter.
Yeah, thus far our statistician, Coach Dodd, is just telling us that Desmond Young at this point has 130 yards passing and 53 yards rushing. So really big, huge night there for the junior quarterback. As I mentioned earlier, Cedric Tarver over 100 yards. He has 3 receptions for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that gives you an indication of the electrifying night that he's having right now.
All right, so here is Montalongo back in the shotgun. Well, now we got a stoppage in play. Looks like Reagan is going to take a timeout, and they are. And we'll break it right now as well. It is Bastrop 34, Reagan Raiders 0, 11:40 to go in the second quarter.
Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws.
Bears football on KMAX Sports. And back in action here on the first down play. Montelongo rolled out right and threw an incomplete pass. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 10, 11:33 to go in the second quarter.
Bears getting some pursuit on the outside there, not giving Montelongo a lot of time to find any of his downfield targets. Bears continuing with that really tenacious defense and really stretching out the play, putting the pressure on the quarterback.
All right, so here's Montelongo in the shotgun. 3 receivers out to his right, 1 out to the left. He's looking left, and that ball is overthrown. So that's an incomplete pass to number 23, Oscar Becerra. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 10 after 2 incomplete passes. Ball is on the Reagan 21-yard line. Reagan down 34-0 to the Bears.
Yeah, Reagan finds himself kind of deep in a hole here, down 34-0 with very, very early in the second quarter. Unable to get anything going offensively here.
All right, so here's Montelongo in the shotgun, 3rd and 10. Montelongo hands it off on a draw play. That was number 13, Angus Christian. Didn't get very much, maybe a couple yards. Going to bring up 4th and long.
Yeah, Bastrop defensive line there doing a really nice job of caving in that play. Like I mentioned earlier, Reagan has got some pretty good size and physicality there on the offensive line, but really just not able to open up anything there for their running backs. And so it'll be 4th and about 9 to go. Looks like they're going to have to bring out the punting unit once again.
Yep, so here's Montelongo on to punt, number 7 for the Bears. Alex Crouch standing on his own 45-yard line to field the punt. And we've got whistles again, flags coming in all the way back. It's a delay of game call. That's another 5-yard penalty. So Reagan really been hurt by the penalties in this first half.
Here with 10:02 to go in the second quarter.
Well, hopefully our problems that we were having with the technology are correcting themselves. I think we were disconnected there for a brief moment, but back on. Here is Carlos Martinez, and he is good with that extra point. So with 10:02 to go before halftime, it is Bastrop 41, Reagan 0. You're listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
Bastrop Bears football on KMAX Sports is proudly sponsored by the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club, with the support of parents, volunteers, and great local businesses that take pride in their community, as well as help from great fans just like you. Your combined donations, contributions, and continued support help keep the Bear tradition alive. Find out more about the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club and what you can do at bastropbears.org.
Purchase a copy of this or any KMAC broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmacsports.com. That's info at kmacsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmacsports.com. Bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAX Sports.
Right for the Bears tonight.
Yeah, a little Van Halen Dance the Night Away coming in, and the Bears are certainly dancing their night away. Bears looking really loose. Cedric Tarver having an amazing night here. The hookup with Desmond Young has just been magic for these two guys.
All right, so here's the kickoff fielded by Reagan. Pretty good return, brought out to the 30-yard line for the ball carrier, number 23, I believe that was. That is Oscar Becerra is upended.
So now the question becomes, is up 41-0 here with 9:54 to go in the second quarter. You got to wonder, John, when are we going to start seeing the backups coming in? I would imagine here pretty soon. I think maybe the defense may be staying out there for a little while longer. Definitely want to try to preserve that shutout for the half at least. And at some point here, we'll be probably seeing the end of the night for Mr. Young and Mr. Tarver.
I would guess so. You know, my guess is Coach Patton will probably stick with those guys till halftime, then make the adjustments that he would need to at that point. But who knows? Maybe he'll go to backup quarterbacks. And we have got a timeout now. So second charge timeout there.
And you got to say, you know, at this point it kind of just looks like every time they just want or decide to go to Cedric Tarver, it's pretty much money in the bank. Tarver now with 3 touchdowns on the night, and it just looks like every time they throw it to him, it's just almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and I noticed on the last big run there by Desmond Young where he was rolling left, Tarver was in single coverage out to the left side, the only receiver out on that side, and Desmond was certainly looking for him, but Desmond tucked it and ran, realized he could pick up just as much yardage to the left side by keeping it.
Yeah, we saw kind of for the first time, you know, Desmond took a really nice little juke step off to the left, and there's a really quick cut, and you know, it's a really nice move that he's got, really hard to tackle, and picked up some large extra yards with that.
All right, so here's Montalongo, and that is going to be another false start penalty. The running back number 13, Angus Christian, lunged forward. Actually, they called number 34. That was Tyler Papillon. They called for the false start there.
Yeah, it's no pun intended, but when it rains, it pours, and nothing can seem to go right here for Reagan tonight.
All right, so here's a handoff. That was to Angus Christian. He gets about 6 yards, so when it was 1st and 15, now it's going to be 2nd, and actually he picked up a little bit better yardage than that. It's going to bring up 2nd and 7. Ball is going to be on the Bastrop 26-yard line. Sorry, 34-yard line, excuse me. 2nd and 7. Clock moving, 9:27 to go. And here's a direct snap to running back Angus Christian, who gets up the middle of the field and goes not quite enough for first down territory, but, or are they moving the chains? Yeah, they are. Actually, they are giving him a pretty good spot there, and that is a first down for Reagan. And if I'm not mistaken, Robert, that might be the first down for Reagan all night.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, it's a pretty woeful night there for the Reagan offense, just really having a tough time getting things going. At this point now, just saying, to heck with it, let's just snap it straight to Christian.
And they did at that time, and Christian actually handed it off to number 44, Chris Perez, the sophomore running back, who didn't get very far with it. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Ball is on the Bastrop 39-yard line.
Yeah, Spurlock and let's see, Greg Rivas there along with Zevin Burnett just caving in that entire kind of weak side of the Reagan offensive line, stopping that play before anything ever had a chance to get started. 8:22 left to go here in the second quarter, and if you're Reagan, you just got to wonder what you got to do to get something moving here.
So we've got to stop in the action. I believe Bastrop took that timeout. Robert, does that sound right to you?
I believe so, and everybody's kind of maybe just taking a deep breath here and just kind of keeping an eye out, looking again at the radar. I'm seeing there's some storms that are kind of starting to form a little bit further south, so again, that's something that we would probably keep an eye on. With the score the way it is, that'd be, I guess the big question would be if you did get a rain out or if you got a lightning delay, at what point do you call the game if in the second half if it was to happen? Do you just keep going and going, or do you want to give a chance to get some of those backup kids the chance to get in there and get some game time in? So we'll have to see what happens. Reagan back on the field here, ready to resume the drive.
All right, so it is 2nd and 12, ball on the 39-yard line of Reagan. Angus Christian playing quarterback now, and he's just going to keep it and run with it. Reagan, offensive lineman, loses his helmet. He'll have to come off the field for a brief moment here for one play.
Angus Christian, he's a pretty fast, pretty mobile guy there. I guess maybe doesn't have much of an arm there. They haven't tried to throw it with him yet, but just the direct snap to him. They're actually picking up some decent little chunks of yardage.
So it is going to be 3rd and 8. Ball is on the Reagan 43-yard line.
So Christian is going to come right back in with the sideline. They got a play there. He's going to come back in the wildcat position.
And there is 7:50 to go. And Angus Christian keeps it, tries to get left, cannot. He is brought down. And he is brought down for a loss. It's going to bring up 4th and, about 15. Clock moving with 7:30 to go before halftime.
Thompson just reading that one the whole way. Comes up holding his leg a little bit. He's going to go ahead and come off, but Simeon just kind of reading that one the whole way, stringing the play out, and making a quick tackle.
All right, so here is Reagan punter. Going to hit this punt about on his own 25-yard line. Oh, and it's a bad kick, really bad kick. He shanked it, and Bastrop's got it. They're going to take it all the way in. That is a touchdown. That is number 52, Robert Spurlock. So that punt went literally about 2 yards sideways. Spurlock just alertly grabbed it, picked it up, ran it in. That's another Bears touchdown. 47-0 now.
John, defensive lineman's dream there. Robert Spurlock just usually plays an interior defensive line there. He happened to be in the right place at the right time. Good hands by Spurlock. Really alert to pick it up and show some speed there. Got some wheels, got a few blockers around him. Robert Spurlock, defensive lineman, has scored a touchdown.
So here is Carlos Martinez on to kick the extra point, and the kick is up, and that kick is good. So with 6:48 to go before halftime, it is Bastrop 48, Reagan Raiders 0. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008. And you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you're needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Bears football on KMAX Sports, part of the Vype Media Network. 6:48 to go in the second quarter. It is Bears 48, Reagan Raiders 0. Starting to get some wind pickup here. Storms are kind of in the area.
Yeah, starting to see some more storms develop here, kind of northeast of Bastrop. One kind of develop over there on Highway 95, right in between Elgin and Bastrop. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if it's moving any closer here. If we get 5 more miles on that thing, they are going to shut us down for at least 30 minutes here. So like I said, it's going to be interesting to happen. But it's all Bears tonight, John. Bears doing it offensively, doing it defensively, and now doing it on the special team as Robert Spurlock, of all people, the defensive lineman, scores on a 35-yard punt return off a shank punt by the Reagan Raiders.
Yep. So with the score 48-0, number 24, Diego Cruz, is going to hit this kick. He's been splitting some time with Carlos Martinez. So Bears letting their kicking game get some workout here. Test out a couple guys tonight. Robert, is Diego Cruz a soccer player as well?
That I'm not really sure about. I believe he is, if I'm not mistaken. He is listed there as a kicker and punter, so I would imagine maybe he is another recruit there from the Bear football team.
And a fair catch is called at the 25-yard line. That is fair caught by Angus Christian. So calling Christian's name a lot tonight.
Yeah, and Angus Christian is in a pretty tight race tonight. It's for the coolest name of our opposition. We didn't hand one out last week, but I like the name Angus Christian. Kind of has a AC/DC Night Ranger thing to it. Also like Tyler Papillon. I thought that was a really great book and a great movie, Papillon. Did you ever read that one, John?
I did not. Who was the author of that?
Henry Le Charry, I believe. True story of a prison down on Devil's Island off French Guiana. And he escaped, of course, which made it good.
Right.
Dustin Hoffman starred in the movie.
All right. Wow, so Reagan uses their last time out of the first half. They were not organized on offense, weren't ready to go. The ball's going to be on the 26-yard line. And decent crowd for a Thursday night here in Bastrop. Can't say the same for the visiting Reagan Raiders. They did not travel well tonight. Not a big surprise on a Thursday night. There's not a lot of people here.
Yeah, don't look ahead too far forward, John, but we're definitely looking forward to next year when we get to visit historic Nelson Field there in East Austin. That's one of the Austin fields that just has a lot of history behind it. Been around for a really long time. Right there on the Austin Reagan campus.
Yeah, looking forward to that next year. That'll be a fun one to call from a historic field in the Austin ISD portfolio of fields. So here's Angus Christian. It's a bad snap back to him. He just takes it, gathers it, tries to run to his right. He's got some running room. He can not get around the edge, though, and picks up about 3 yards. Falls down inbounds.
Yeah, Crouch coming over there from a free safety position, and that's what we were talking about earlier in the game, John. The Bastrop's seemingly found ability to stop the big play from happening. Christian had a good chance to get around the corner and bust one out there, but the free safety was able to shut it down. Looks like we got a flag on the play as well.
And it's holding against Reagan, so that run by Christian for a couple yards gain is going to be negated. That ball is coming back. 6:36 to go. It's going to bring up 1st and 20. That brings the ball all the way back to the Reagan 16-yard line.
Yeah, just like we said, just as soon as Reagan gets some sort of momentum, it just gets snuffed out of him there.
So here's Christian back in the shotgun. High snap to him. He hands it off to Perez. Perez is brought down close to the line of scrimmage. I believe that was Perez. Yeah, Chris Perez in it. Running back for Reagan now. He got maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 2nd and 20. Clock moving, 6:15 to go. Bastrop with a 48-0 lead.
Bastrop looks like they're getting in some of the backups in. We're seeing a few new numbers out there.
The Reagan band made their way here. They showed up about midway through the first quarter, but good to see them come out. It's a handoff to Perez again. He's going nowhere. That ball is going to be spotted at about the 14-yard line, let's call it. So loses a couple yards. Going to bring up 3rd and 22.
Yeah,
Ball at 14.
One bright spot for Reagan, you got to say, is looking at this roster, these guys have got some good size, they got some good speed, and a lot of them are young. So even though these guys are taking a thumping tonight, they're getting some valuable varsity experience here tonight.
All right, so here is a handoff, and on 3rd and long, Reagan elects to run it, and nowhere close to a first down. It's going to bring up 4th and pretty long. And I believe Reagan's going to punt it. Clock's moving, 4:49 to go before halftime. Who we got in to punt? Can't read that number. Punter for Reagan. And Bastrop doesn't even have a man deep,
John, I think
to receive this kick.
It's like number 10, I believe. It's kind of
10 would be Aureli Garcia. He's a sophomore. It's a bad snap to him, and he is just there's a lot of confusion down here.
So Garcia muffs the punt. Jose Aguirre, the senior defensive lineman, makes the tackle. Ball is kind of bobbled around, and a flag flies through the air. We'll see what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that flag is for. We'll have to check with the referee. There's a lot of confusion. It was a bad snap to the punter. He couldn't get the punt off. And Reagan is coming back out on the field as if they are still going to have possession of the ball. We'll have to check with our referee what the call is. And here's the call.
Personal foul on the defense, number 55. While the play was in possession, we got 15 yards from the spot of the foul. It's an automatic first down.
Well, so there you heard it. Personal foul while Reagan still had possession. Looked like a clean hit to me on the punter. But nevertheless, that is a automatic first down. 15 yards from the spot of the play. The ball is only going to be on the 26-yard line of Reagan. So where it's going to bring up a new set of downs for Reagan.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there. It looked like a muffed punt. Looked like Bastrop had got possession of it, so maybe something was said, or it's really difficult to say. But there was definitely something went wrong down there because Reagan still has the ball and will take over there on their own 26-yard line, deep in their own territory.
All right, so here's Angus Christian. And the clock's running with 4:14 to go. Christian takes it, tries to get out to the right side. They string the play out pretty well, push him out of bounds. Probably lost a couple yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and long.
Starting to see some big flashes of lightning now off to the northeast as it starts to creep in a little bit closer here. I'm sure the trainers and everybody and athletic director, Coach Sexton, are looking at their radar and making sure that everybody is safe out here tonight. Clock continuing to roll. Looks like they're going to shut it down for just a second.
Yeah, and they're spotting the ball right at the 25-yard line of Reagan. Snap back to Christian. He's going to keep it. Run forward. He's got some running room. Getting close to the first down. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 2. So a decent run there to the right side for Angus Christian.
Christian again on the carry. Once again, Conrad Pace with the stop.
Yeah, so
Up to the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
3rd and 2 on the 34. Clock moving, 3:38 to go before halftime. Here's Angus Christian in the shotgun. One running back to his right. Christian just keeps it, goes to the right side again. Don't think he got enough for the first down. And they're probably just going to let this clock run down as far as they can before they're going to try to punt it again. Punting game has given Reagan all kinds of problems tonight. So maybe actually they just go for it.
Yeah, you might as well, I would say, when you're deep in your own territory. But the snap and the punter just seems to be having trouble, whoever they put back there, making that connection and getting a foot on it. So looks like they're going to go ahead and give it another shot, though. Crouch is going to go back to receive this one. He's actually going to stay up a little bit. They haven't sent one very deep, so looks like they're just going to kind of hang out and see how much he can hit this.
Wow, and they snapped it back to the punter, number 10, Aureli Garcia. He wasn't ready for it, but I don't think anybody was really, so they have another stop in play here for a penalty. And that's a false start call for the kicking team. 2:31 clock is stopped. It's going to bring up 4th and 6. They're moving the ball back to the Reagan 30-yard line. And I believe they've got another punter in now. It's number 8, Javon Hodges. Bastrop with no one back deep to receive it. Here's the snap back to Hodges. And he gets off a decent punt. And we get some stop in the roll there with Reagan recovering that punt on about the Bastrop 42-yard line. So with 2:10 to go before halftime, it is Bastrop 48, Reagan Raiders 0. Robert and I were commenting last commercial break that our guess is if this score holds through halftime, that they're just going to let the clock run continuously in the third and fourth quarter without any stoppage, and that be a pretty quick half. I don't know the exact rules on how they determine that.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I believe both coaches have to kind of agree at halftime. There's kind of a mercy rule to get those get the kids some playing time in, but still get them out. There's a fumble on the play there.
Yep, sure was. Bad exchange there between the quarterback for Bastrop, which looks to me like was number 9. Yeah, so that was Romello Flores Giles, number 9. The Bastrop quarterback, Desmond Young, was not in on that series. And it was a bad exchange between Flores Giles and his running back, which looked to be number 32, Eddie Brown, and Reagan recovered it. So, hey, Reagan is in Bastrop territory for the first time tonight.
Yeah, just they kind of run out. There was some confusion there on substitution for a lineman. Bastrop looking confused really for the first time tonight.
All right, so here's Angus Christian. And it is a keeper by the Reagan quarterback. And it is number 8, actually, Javon Hodges, who took that direct snap at quarterback. And the Reagan offense has basically just gone to direct snapping it to the quarterback position, and that man carrying the ball.
Yeah, that's of course the tough thing with that is that your defense is going to start keying on you. If they're expecting the run, if they know that you don't want to throw it, they'll just load the box.
So here's the snap back to Javon Hodges. He hands it off this time to Angus Christian. Christian is met a couple times by tacklers before he is finally brought down close to the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 3rd and about 4. That was number 15, or no, sorry, number 6. Yeah, Fazion Madison, junior, with an interception tonight, then on the tackle there. So 3rd and 3, ball on the Bastrop 36-yard line, 1:02, clock moving before halftime. Bastrop with the 48-0 lead, looking to take that into the locker room at halftime before the bands come out on the field. And here's the snap, and it is kept again. Enough for the first down, second first down of the night. That was number 8 again, Javon Hodges, the junior, at the quarterback position. Lunges forward with it to the left side of the line and has enough for the first down. Clock stopped momentarily while the chains are reset. Ball is going to be on the Bastrop 29-yard line.
Yeah, first big push that we're seeing there from the Reagan offensive line, kind of knocking the Bear defensive line back, and that's just not something that we've seen tonight, as Bastrop has just dominated almost every aspect of this game from start to finish.
So with a fresh set of downs, clock moving with 18 seconds before halftime, now down to 15. Play clock's at 5. And here's the snap back to the quarterback. And he runs out to the left, and he is out of bounds. That is number 23, Oscar Becerra, this time with a direct snap at quarterback. There are 3 seconds left. So Reagan's got time for one more play before halftime. It's going to be second and about 4. Ball is going to be on the Bastrop 23-yard line. And, Robert, I think they got to throw it here. So whichever quarterback they want to put in at the position to heave it to the end zone, looks to me like they're going to stick with 23, Oscar Becerra. And he's rolling right. He throws it, and that ball is incomplete. And that's how the first half ends. So the score is Bastrop 48, Reagan Raiders 0. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports. We'll be back with some halftime entertainment for you in just one moment. Bears football on KMAX Sports.
Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official. Do you love the game of officiating? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become working around student athletes. The Austin Football Officials. Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws.
Drop tonight, Robert.
Yeah, the Bears opening up the night, and it was a foreshadow of things to come. Was the first play from scrimmage, a 60-yard pass from Desmond Young to Cedric Tarver for a touchdown. It was a high floater pass, but Tarver was able to come up and grab it and take it off to the races. So first play from scrimmage, Bears up 7-0. Then with 7:18 to go, Young again on a 38-yard pass to Cole Tidwell. Cole Tidwell catching that in full stride, making the score 14-0. Then with 5:21 to go, still in the first quarter, a 33-yard pass to Cedric Tarver from Young. Tarver again gets on the board to put the Bears up 21-0. And then, just for good measure, the Bears go ahead and pop another one in, 28-0, with a Jaquay Cretin 1-yard run to go with 2:36 to go in the first quarter. The first play of the second quarter from scrimmage ends up being a 34-yard touchdown run by Desmond Young. Desmond getting around the edge there, taking off some speed and getting off to the races there. And then Bastrop gets on the board again with a 22-yard run from Young that set up a 13-yard pass from Young to Tarver. And then to finish it off, one of the more memorable plays of this Young season, Robert Spurlock, the erstwhile defensive lineman, with a 35-yard punt return off a shanked punt from the Reagan punter. The defensive lineman gets his first career touchdown and had a nice run there, John. I actually had to show some wheels there. And that's where we end up here at the half. 48-0, Bastrop all over the Austin Reagan Raiders.
All right, and while the Reagan band is out on the field, we are joined by former Bastrop player. You want to introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, sure. My name is Clellan Hyatt. Used to play quarterback. Started 3 years and played on the 01 team that lost to Reagan in the state quarterfinals.
So, Clellan, yeah, you were there. Me and my wife had actually just moved out to Cedar Creek, and we followed you guys that season and watched it. And you guys, you want to take us back to that game there? I believe it was in the Alamo Dome, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, second week in a row playing in the Alamo Dome. Beat Beeville the week before and got a chance to play Reagan. Scored first play of the game through a 76-yard touchdown pass to Rashawn Ward. A little throwback pass, and it was just back and forth all game.
Was that you have to forgive me, I don't remember the exact record, but was that y'all's first loss of the year, or had you guys lost in district play?
Crazy enough, we started the season off 0-4, and then we went on to win 9 in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the change that happened?
Well, you know what? It was my senior year, and all the captains got together, and we had a team meeting, and a little come to Jesus, and I think everybody knew where we were headed after that.
So some pretty good talent on that team, I guess, if you guys were able to turn it around and just kind of realized it, right?
There was a lot of talent, a lot of great players. I hate to say it was a hard non-district schedule, but playing Cedar Park, played Reagan week 2, Hayes, Colleen, Harker Heights. I'm 34 and I still remember all this.
That's okay. I remember all mine too.
But it wasn't until Colleen Shoemaker that we got winning and went 5-0 in district and really got on a run.
So you guys won the district championship that year?
We did. We beat San Marcos, who was the reigning district champs, top 10 in the state at the time, and beat them 27-26 over in Bobcat Stadium that year.
So as a former quarterback, and especially in the early 2000s, watching a high school football game now, me and John have commented on just the evolution of the offensive now. Not only the emphasis on passing, we haven't seen, I think we saw the other night, John, was it Anderson or a McCallum kid go under center? I think that's the first time we've seen it in about 5 years, it seems like.
Yeah, it was Anderson who went under center, and they used the fullback position, something that we just never see now. What type of offense did you guys run? Were you ever under center, or were you always in the shotgun as well?
As much as I hated it at the time, we ran a wing T offense. It was a little wing T multiple, but our base was a wing T, and as you know, wing T is not much of a passing offense. Although we did break it out in some multiple formations and a little bit of spread, but we had some great running backs that year, and really took advantage of those guys. Used them effectively, I think.
Yeah, the wing tees. Watch what you say about it, man. I love the wing tee. We ran that at Permian, and that was our base offense was the wing tee. They got it from old Gordon Wood out there in Brownwood, and that was the staple for a long time. And we actually, our team that won state in '92, behind quarterback Stormy Case, we threw the ball. I think the final statistics were something like 20% of the time, which was just outrageous for the early '90s. We were like an air attack, and just seeing these guys now, how much they put it in the air, it's amazing. And Bastrop has put it in the air quite a bit, and but some of these teams that we saw last year, such as Cedar Park and Georgetown, it just seems like they never went to the ground.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. It's been and very, very fast. We've even John and myself, when we first started kind of adjusting to this, had some difficult times just basically keeping up with the play. I think a couple of years ago we we actually timed it, and we were getting something like 7 to 8 seconds between snaps, so you could just barely catch your breath.
Yeah, that was the Georgetown game where they made a concerted effort to just play the hurry-up offense. We timed it from when the whistle blew to the next play went off, and it was usually about 8 or 9 seconds before they would snap it again. So what do you think of the new BASTROP quarterback from what you've seen tonight?
Loving it so far. I mean, seems like he's the real deal. Everybody had nothing but great things to say about him, and from what I've seen so far, looks like he's going to do great things. I'm really excited about the program right now, and just seeing these kids. I'm not in education now, but I used to teach the middle school, and the last year that I taught was these kids that are seniors now were 8th graders.
Ah, okay. So you're familiar with some of the faces here on the BASTROP team.
Yeah, definitely. It was really awesome getting to give the pregame speech to these guys, and being my last game, a loss against Reagan, and the program looks a little different, but back in the early 2000s, Reagan was definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, definitely. I remember, Reagan was always in the mix in everything, in football and track, and they still seem to come out every now and then. Coach Patman was saying in the pregame interview, he talked about they had a really good player named Mulbacar, and Mulbacar is one of the players for U of H now, and I don't know if he's starting the running back position for them or what, but he played linebacker and running back that year and almost just single-handedly took it to us. But what did you say to those kids there at halftime?
I just took them back to the feeling of being so close to playing Bay City in the state semifinals, and then having everything just end right there. We go up with 1 minute, 30 seconds left, 38-35, and 30 seconds left. We ran a speed option to the right side, and one broken play on the defensive side, and they're in the end zone, and a couple Hail Marys later, we're going home. So it was a crazy feeling, but just letting these guys know, just kind of looking back, that the things that I wished I would have done, taking more time to prepare mentally with film, and just being prepared, not just physically, but everything mentally.
Hey, what was it like to play those old games there at Earhart Field? It seems I've seen a couple games there when we first got out here, but seeing it now, it's just kind of basically used as a practice facility. You wish we could get some bonds passed out here and get that thing fixed back up.
It's a sad sight, and I don't want to say too many things on the radio, but growing up in Bastrop, that was the hometown feel, and there was people that would just walk to the game, and no matter where you were in the town, you could hear touchdown Bastrop, and it's something that you'll never forget. But I feel that the move out here, while it was good in theory, it's I'd love to see Bastrop back at Earhart at some point. If something could be done, if you're listening out there, guys. I know a lot of people would love to see it, but it was lovely. I loved playing there, and it was always a packed house, and just a good feel over there.
Yeah, hey, we love it out here too. We certainly enjoy Memorial Stadium. It's a beautiful facility out here.
For sure.
But yeah, I just like I said, we had just moved out here, and I'd actually had gone out there to see a couple of games at Earhart. So, whether they eventually end up playing games back there again or just kind of fixing up that facility here for the middle schools, you would definitely love to see that happen, because it's such a proud facility there with so much tradition and so much history behind it. You hope Bastrop can come together and get something done to get that thing funded. So.
Love to see it.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. So you're going to come out to any more games this year?
Definitely, yeah. I'm living in Austin right now, so this is kind of halfway point, and I'm looking forward to seeing the season progress and watching these guys take it into the playoffs. Really feel good about this program right now.
Yeah, the UIL realignment for the district that Bastrop's in for these next 2 years certainly treated Bastrop kind. They were in a really tough district previous years before this with Hutto, Georgetown, Cedar Park, and a few other schools that made it really tough. But I believe that Bastrop fans have a reason to be very optimistic from what they're seeing so far, and with the new district that they're in, looking to make a push to the playoffs this year.
I feel like they have a really good chance this year, and not having Cedar Park in there definitely helps. Still have Eastview in there.
That's right.
I mean, they have some competition for sure. Tough road ahead, but I feel like it's much more manageable this year.
Well, Clarence, we really appreciate you coming to join us. We typically let the Bastrop band here play us out in halftime. Got any other parting words of wisdom before we let the Bastrop band play here at halftime?
Go Bears. Keep rocking, baby.
All right. All right, folks, so that is Clellan Hyatt, the 2001 quarterback, the quarterback that took the Bears back to the regional finals, and glad to hear he's going to be around. And Clellan, you are certainly welcome up in the press box anytime if you want to come share your thoughts again.
Thank you, yes.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Clellan. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so another Bastrop legend here, Clellan Hyatt there. Wow, John, we had Bernard Blake last week. Clellan Hyatt, man, it's we've just it's like the press box is glowing in here.
Right, so here is the Bastrop band for their halftime performance.
And now, please enjoy the Honey Bears as they perform their exciting prom routine to Fireball. The Honey Bears invite you to join them for their Future Cub Clinic, Saturday, September 29th. For more information, see a Honey Bear or talk to Coach Mack. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the Bastrop High School proudly presents the Pride of the Lost Pines, the Bastrop High School Band. The band is under the direction of Kenneth Gilbreth, Andrew Tuck, and Garnet Gilbreth. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Jocelyn Enriquez and Riley Tamayo. The band's program includes their 2018 UIL marching show, The Hive, featuring the music of Sting, Vaughn Williams, Rimsky-Korsakov, and the arrangements by Shane Kelby. Drum majors, is your band ready? And now for your halftime enjoyment, the Bastrop Bear Band. Marchers of the Week are Casey Sanchez, Tamisha Allen, Vidias Alejandra, Andrea Leos, Gwyneth Saeed, Renalia Rodriguez, Lily Webb, Piper Payne, Caitlin Gibbs, and Angel Miranda. This week's section of the week are the trumpets. Today's halftime show is proudly sponsored by Premier ER, and we'd like to thank our band boosters for all their support.
All right, so that was the Bastrop Marching Band for your halftime entertainment. Players are making their way back on the field. There's still 6 minutes on the clock before halftime is over, but a little bit of rain is starting to fall here. You start to see the umbrellas out in the crowd, people kind of looking for some shelter. It's not raining hard yet, but there are storms in the area. Our guess, and this is just speculation by Robert and myself, is that the coaches will agree to just let the clock run in the second half, with Bastrop leading 48-0 over the Reagan Raiders. We're going to break it here momentarily. You are listening to Bears football on KMAX Sports.
Bastrop Bears football on KMAX Sports is proudly sponsored by the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club, with the support of parents, volunteers, and great local businesses that take pride in their community, as well as help from great fans just like you. Your combined donations, contributions, and continued support help keep the Bear tradition alive. Find out more about the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club and what you can do at bastropbears.org.
Do you love the game of football? Wish you could be part of the action? Then become a football official. The Austin Football Officials Association is actively seeking new members to officiate games all across Central Texas. The Austin Football Chapter of TASO, the Texas Association of Sports Officials, provides a 2-year training program for new members. Taught by a crew of veteran officials, these training classes meet each Monday night from July through November and include classroom and on-field instruction. You don't need to be an ex-player or a coach to become a great official and have a memorable officiating career. As our officials will tell you, working around student athletes at all levels of football is gratifying. Plus, you'll develop lifelong friendships with other officials who share your passion for the game. Officiating football is a great way to get into and stay in shape, be a positive role model for student athletes, retain your competitive edge, and earn additional income. Visit the Austin Football Officials Association online at afoa.ws for more information. That's afoa.ws. Purchase a copy of this or any KMAC broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmacsports.com. That's info@kmacsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmacsports.com. Bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAC Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008. And you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, we all have at least one of those, you're needed. Visit AustinPetsAlive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Bears football on KMAX Sports. Bears lead 48-0 over the Reagan Raiders at halftime. Reagan already coming out on the field there in the end zone, and Bastrop's about to run through their inflatable tunnel here to get the second half started. A little light rain starting to fall here at Memorial Stadium, but no lightning in the area yet, so it looks like game on for the second half.
Yeah, we'll be waiting to see here if the clock is going to run continuously for the second half. If both head coaches agree to let that happen, there will not be any stoppage at play. You just kind of let that clock run to kind of minimize the damage and pride of the Austin Reagan Raiders, who look like they're just having an absolutely horrible night. Anything that could have possibly gone wrong for the Raiders has gone wrong tonight. Offensively, defensively, the punting has been really a big, huge issue for them. Robert Spurlock, the defensive lineman for the Bastrop Bears, being the lucky recipient of one of those muffed punts. But it's just a rough night for the Raiders. They've had a tough beginning of the season. We were talking to Pete over there at the Cedar Creek broadcast, and from what we understand, they are onto their, well, they started the game actually with their backup quarterback and backup running back, as both of those players were injured last week against Cedar Creek. One of their better players was also ejected, so he has to sit out this game during the game against Cedar Creek. So Austin Reagan hoping they can maybe get something going here in the second half. Bastrop likely going to play a bunch of the backups here. I would be really, really surprised if we saw any of the starters at all in the second half based on the score. But yeah, I think the big question at this point is, will we see a continuous clock, which we will find out here momentarily.
Yeah, I'm looking at radar as well. Nearest lightning strike is 25.9 miles away, so certainly everybody in charge of getting players off the field is looking at that as well. So still well outside the range where there needs to be concern about lightning, and so if we do get a little light rain, it still should be game to be continued, and Bastrop kicking team is heading out on the field.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell. The track is completely wet now, and you're seeing a few coaches with raincoats on down there. Seeing a few umbrellas out. So, like I said, like John was saying, it's a light rain. Seeing some cars starting to leave here on the Reagan side. Bastrop kicking team will line up. Could be a preview of next year's game. As we were saying earlier, this Reagan lineup is a lot of juniors and sophomores just sprinkled throughout. So second half could be a preview of next year's game at Nelson Field. And here's the kick. The kick is a squib kick in and out of the hands of the Reagan return man. And he is brought down there. That looks like number
Angus Christian again, number
Angus,
13.
And it looks like Ezekiel Matamoros, the junior wide receiver here for the Bears, in on that tackle there. And Reagan is going to start the second half there. The ball, I think, on the 20-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. Yeah, it looks like they are going to spot it there on the 20-yard line, so that's where Reagan will get it going here. At the beginning of the second half, clock running down here.
So the clock is moving. I think that was probably agreed upon by the coaches.
All right, so looks like we have a new, looks like we're going to go back to a direct snap, and there's a gap up the middle, and the direct snap there. See if we can get a number. The number's a little bit harder to pick up here in the evening now.
That was number 8, Javon Hodges, quarterback now for Reagan.
Yeah, so Hodges there with the carry, kind of cuts through there and guts it up the middle. Hodges back in at quarterback, or you could call it the wildcat position. He's got one running back in the backfield with him, offset to his left, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Direct snap to Hodges and cuts it up, and he is stuffed there by a trio of Bastrop tacklers led by Paul Ford, the junior linebacker for the Bears. And John, you got to wonder if it doesn't look like the passing game is going to get up and running at all. I'm surprised they are still going with this kind of spread type formation. You'd think maybe you go under center and just start pounding that thing in, getting the old eye or the old wishbone or something?
Yeah, well, my guess, though, Robert, is I am practicing those plays. They're just going to work on their base offense, and the Bastrop knows they're going to run it.
So Hodges takes the ball. He is going out to the right. Gets a quick block, turns the quarter. He's got some space to the 40, to the 35, to the 50, and takes it out to the outside. That's Javon Hodges, the junior. Call him quarterback, although he's basically functioned as a running back here. Gets around the corner and makes up a nice chunk of yardage. That's probably, I'd have to say, Reagan's biggest gain of the night there.
Yeah, I believe it is. They picked up a good 25 yards or so on that run. And And they did stop the clock there, though. Now they're starting to snap or
looks like we got a holding call and maybe a face mask call.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a face mask call. We'll have to check the penalty here. And yeah, now the clock's moving again.
So the referee was signaling to the clock operator up here to keep the clock moving. It took a while to get it going there, but a pretty nice chunk of a penalty there that's tacked on to the end of that run there by Hodges. Going to be first down there. Ball is on the Bastrop 27-yard line. Snap to Hodges, runs to the right, just off tackle before he is brought down. Met at the line of scrimmage there by Armando Zamora, the senior linebacker for the Bears. Zamora meets the quarterback there, pushes him back a few yards. We'll see where they mark it. Going to be about a 3-yard loss, call it. So it'll be 2nd and 13 here for the Raiders. Operating in Bastrop territory for one of the rare times tonight. Clock continuing to roll here. 8:53 here in the third quarter. Snap to Hodges. He actually looks to pass, shows he's going to pass, then tucks and run. He's got some space to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, down to the 10. Gets it all the way down to the 9-yard line there. Javon Hodges showing pass, freezing the Bastrop defense for just a second there, and then squirting up the middle for a big gain here. Austin Reagan is going to have first and goal here on the Bastrop 10-yard line.
Yeah, heavy pursuit by the Bastrop linebackers that Hodges was able to get around the edge of and get into the secondary pretty quickly.
All right, so Hodges knocking on the door here of the Bastrop backup defense. Let's see if these backup Bears can make a stop here. It's a bad snap, and the ball rolls back, and Hodges picks it up, and he's off to the races again. Gets a huge block there on the corner before he is knocked out of bounds there by number 20, Conrad Pace, the sophomore linebacker. It was a muff snap there, and a lot of confusion there on the play, but Hodges able to make something happen there. Vontre Harper executes a nice block to spring him for a few extra yards and get back basically to the original line of scrimmage before he is knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a wild play. Hodges was able to scoop it up and get back to the line of scrimmage.
All right, so number 5 now, Lamont Townsend in with Hodges in the backfield. The snap goes straight to Townsend.
That's another false start penalty against the Raiders.
Yeah, so Reagan feeling a little bit of the pain that Bastrop felt last year, just when you get the a nice drive going, start getting a little bit of momentum, then you get a false start that just kind of zaps it right out of you. So that's going to make it 2nd and goal there. Now from the 15-yard line. Again, it is going to be Hodges and Townsend in the backfield. We'll see who the snap goes to. It looks like it's going to go to Townsend, and it does. Townsend shows pass, but then quickly runs it up the middle and charges forward, picks up a good 6 yards before he's brought down again by Paul Ford.
Yeah, you know, any of these pass fakes, you're wondering why Bastrop's defense is biting on it at all, because Reagan's got no illusion of throwing the football, but they've been keeping it the entire time because they don't have a passer back there. It's just going to be run plays.
So Reagan offensive coordinator Mike Adams making some adjustments here, working with what he's got, getting a little bit of success and knocking on the Bastrop door. Townsend in at quarterback again with Hodges in the backfield with him. Shows pass again, tucks it, runs, cuts it up the middle. Bastrop not fooled, but Townsend really doing a good job in finding the crease, picking up a few yards here and there. It's going to be number 26, Joseph Tuck there.
Getting to call some names on the Bastrop defense that we don't normally call. Bastrop with their second string in.
Tuck listed as a defensive lineman and running back here for the Bears.
And Reagan's going for it on 4th and goal. Ball's going to be on the 8-yard line.
I had a suspicion they may not kick it, although number 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they do have the kick team out, but
Aureli Garcia is in to attempt a field goal, or possibly a fake field goal.
And now I believe Reagan is calling timeout.
So Reagan will take a quick timeout. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. You're listening to Bear Football on KMAX Sports.
At Austin Pets Alive, the mission is to promote and provide the resources, education, and programs needed to eliminate the killing of companion animals. That means more happy pets joining more happy families every single day. In fact, Austin Pets Alive has saved more than 25,000 dogs and cats since 2008, and you can help. Adopt a new family member, help out with a donation, or roll up your sleeves and volunteer. If you have love, time, or money to spare, and we all have at least one of those, you are needed. Visit austinpetsalive.com to get started. Austin Pets Alive, helping people help pets.
Bastrop Bear football on KMAX Sports. Bastrop leads 48-0 with 5:30 to go here in the third quarter. Clock continuously running here in the second half, except for that timeout there. Reagan on 4th and goal on the Bear 8-yard line. Looks like they're going to attempt a field goal. We'll see what happens. They have Lamont Townsend in to hold with Aureli Garcia on for the attempt. Snap is back to Townsend. The kick is down. It is up. And it is good. It looks like he pulled it just a little bit right, but looked like it just snuck into the upright there. So the shutout is over. The Raiders are on the board, and with 5:13 to go, the Bears lead now 48-3 as the clock continues to roll. May have us kind of a short second half here.
Yeah, we'll keep it here rather than taking a break since we just had one. So Reagan figures they'll get their field goal kicker, a lefty, in on an attempt to put one through the uprights, and they do, and get on the board. So with the clock running with 4:45 to go in the third quarter, it's Bastrop 48, Reagan Raiders 3. So no more shutout for the Bastrop defense.
Well, the Raiders could definitely credit a lot of that drive to Lamont Townsend and Javon Hodges. Those two forming a duo back there, running kind of a wildcat formation where they took a snap on a couple of those plays, showed pass as if they were going to pass, and froze the Bastrop defense long enough to pick up a nice chunk of yardage. But Bastrop finally wising up and clamping down and keeping the touchdown out and restricting them to a field goal. It was a pretty close field goal. Had to kind of sneak it in there into the inside of the post. But I think Bastrop will probably be a little bit disappointed that they didn't get the shutout, but that'll be okay as the kickoff return unit will line up here. Clock continuing to roll here now, under 4 minutes in the third quarter.
Robert, I saw number 16, Peyton Parsons, warming up a little bit on the track, throwing the football a little bit. So my guess is that's who you will see, probably along with Romello Flores-Giles here in the second half for quarterback personnel.
Yeah, so as we mentioned last week, we saw both of those guys throwing on and off here in the second half as the Bears opened up a big lead against Rudder. And so here's the kickoff. Return men are far up. It's a short, high kick. The ball is fumbled there. Cedric Tarver will pick it up. He'll go around the edge. He's to the 35, the 40. Now he's out to the 50. Through past midfield to the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown Bears. Probably the last person you want to pick up a fumble ball if you're a Reagan Raider would be Cedric Tarver. And Cedric Tarver does what he's been doing all night, which is find the end zone.
Wow, so what looked like a very, very ugly play for the Bastrop Bears turned into a touchdown because the ball somehow found Cedric Tarver's hands, and he just outran everybody down the right side of the field. No one from Reagan could stop him. Cedric's had a whale of a night tonight.
Yeah, he's done it on both the offensive end and on special teams there. 2:34 here to go in the third quarter. Bears will attempt to convert the extra point. The kick is down, and it is no good. It looked like number 24 there just kind of hit it off the back end of one of his kicker. Diego Cruz tried to get that ball lifted a little bit, and unfortunately, the extra point does not go through. That said, though, Cedric Tarver's touchdown now makes it 54-3 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Clock continuing to run. We'll take a quick break here. You're listening to Bear Football on KMAX Sports.
Bastrop Bears football on KMAX Sports is proudly sponsored by the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club, with the support of parents, volunteers, and great local businesses that take pride in their community, as well as help from great fans just like you. Your combined donations, contributions, and continued support help keep the Bear tradition alive. Find out more about the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club and what you can do at bastropbears.org.
Bastrop Bear football on KMAX Sports. Running the continuous clock here in the second half. Now down to 1:15 here in the third quarter. Bears score on a 70-yard kickoff return by Cedric Tarver after a fumbled play. Fumbled around, a couple guys get a hand on it. Ends up in the hands of Cedric Tarver. He gets around the edge and takes it to the house once again for another touchdown for Mr. Tarver. So, Bears will be set to kick off here. Carlos Martinez puts it up in the air. It's a short hopping kick, fielded there by the Reagan return man. That's Townsend. Townsend charges forward, still on his feet. Gets it out to the 36-yard line.
All right, decent little return there for Reagan. And I believe that might be the last play of the third quarter. To say that was a fast quarter of football is an understatement.
Yeah, and so that would be the last play of the third quarter. Reagan might try to get one in. It looks like the play clock is actually off, though. So they may just let this one run down. Take it to the fourth quarter. Both coaches agreeing to let this one run. Patman taking mercy on his former school there.
And, yeah, that is the last play of the third quarter. Going into the fourth quarter here, only at 9 o'clock. And they're going to try to get everybody out of here home and safe before more of the rains come.
Yeah, and there's definitely some rainstorms in the area. What they're kind of watching is just they don't want to cancel this game. We're starting to see some lightning form out to the east a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this one in, get everybody on the bus, get them fed, and get them to the house. Got school tomorrow.
That's right. Rare Thursday night game. I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. First time in a while that Bastrop has played a Thursday night game. We've got another one for the district opener against Pflugerville Weiss at the field in Pflugerville 3 weeks from tonight as our other Thursday night game of the season. Next week, we've got a Friday night game also at the field in Pflugerville. That's against Pflugerville Connolly, last year's district foe. That'll be a Friday night game a week from tomorrow. Then a bye week. Then we'll be going to the field again for a home opener 3 weeks from tonight.
So Javon Hodges takes a direct snap, charges up the middle, got a little bit of space, picks up a nice 7-yard chunk there. Javon, the junior, sometimes running back. They're running him in a quarterback position now. For all of Reagan's woes tonight, they have found something that they can latch onto. With the Wildcat position. Direct snap back to the Wildcat again, charges forward. I believe that time that was Jalen Moore, number 6 there for the Raiders. So Jalen Moore, a junior running back. They've got a stable of running backs here. Moore, a big, thick, kind of low center of gravity running back there. Picks up the first down. Clock continuing to roll.
A lot of defensive substitutions coming in for the Bears here in the fourth quarter.
Raiders on their own 48-yard line. Snap goes to Moore. Moore charges forward. He is gang tackled. The tackler is led there by Damian Piper, the senior defensive back for the Bears. Doing a good job of closing up the gap there.
Yeah, Bastrop just keying in on the run now. Reagan has not attempted a pass since their quarterback, Montelago, went out earlier.
Yeah, so Reagan kind of scrambling to find somebody to get that ball in the quarterback position. Moore looks to the sideline, takes a snap. Direct snap again, charges forward. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, but stays on his feet before he is finally brought down there by Job Watson, sophomore defensive lineman for the Bears.
Also in on that play was number 20, Conrad Pace, sophomore linebacker.
So getting some underclassmen in. A couple of sophomores there in on the tackle for the Bears against the junior quarterback / running back for the Raiders. Got a new player checking in at that position. Going to be Omarion Neal now. Takes a snap, same play, charges forward, bounces off a couple of tacklers before he is brought down there. On the tackle, number 40, Armando Zamora, senior for the Bears, but not before the Raiders pick up a first down.
Yeah, it's another first down for the Bears. Oh, yeah, sorry, for the Raiders.
So it looks like they've got something that they can work with here. Bears defense calling on the underclassmen to step up, get a stop here. Neal again in at quarterback, takes a direct snap, same play that we've seen, charges up the field. He's tackled again by Job Watson.
Yeah, I saw Job Watson kind of come in from the backside there and grab the ball carrier and pull him backwards.
Second and 8 here for the Raiders. Lamont Townsend is going to check back in here for the Raiders. Townsend, the quarterback who engineered a large part of that scoring drive last time for the Raiders, takes a snap. Townsend gets around the end, and he is brought down, and it looks like a horse collar there.
Yeah, that was kind of a horse collar grab there, and Lamont Townsend kind of fell awkward on that. Good to see him pop up and be okay after that tackle.
Yeah, the penalty's going to be called on Paul Ford there for the Bears.
Personal foul, face mask, 35 on the defense.
Face mask and not a horse collar. Interesting. Okay, I thought I saw a horse collar as well, but face mask infraction.
So, personal foul penalty will drive it even further into Bear territory. Second half, the Bear offense has still not taken the field, actually. Raiders lining up with 2 out to either side. Townsend in the backfield takes a snap. Going to try to bounce it out to the outside. Gets the corner. He's got some space. It looks like he's going to be pretty close to the first down, maybe a couple yards shy of it. So
yeah, it's a good run out to the left side. I think they might have enough for the first. See where they spot him.
Armando Zamora again in on the tackle there for the Bastrop Bears. Looks like they're going to spot him just a couple yards shy there. Lamont Townsend will stay in.
Second down and 2.
Reagan just choosing to direct snap it to the quarterback and go up the middle every time. There's actually a handoff this time. Handoff to number 8 there, Javon Hodges.
I believe he got enough for the first down.
So Hodges, the heavier of the running back stables, is able to drive that pile forward and push back the Bastrop defensive line. Reagan getting a little positive yardage here. Knocking on the door with 6:15 to go here in the contest. Ball's on the Bear 17-yard line. Bears lead 54-3.
Reaching the 6-minute mark left in the fourth quarter.
So Lamont Townsend is in the game still at quarterback. Vontre Harper back with him. Handoff. Actually, he does not hand it off, so Townsend just fakes a handoff and goes with it on the keeper. He is brought down the backfield for about a 2 or 3 yard loss.
Robert, I was just checking the Taco Shack's area scoreboard. The Killeen Vista Ridge game, 36-6 right now, but Smithson Valley and Hendrickson was canceled at the field. I believe that's probably due to the lightning in the Pflugerville area. And the other one I saw canceled as well was the what was the game? It was Cedar Park and Cedar Ridge. Also canceled.
Townsend takes a snap. The ball is up in the air and incomplete pass there. Nice defense on the play there by number 30. That's Ezekiel Matamoris there.
Got a pass play for Reagan. That's a surprise to everybody.
Really wasn't a bad-looking pass either. Put a nice spiral on the ball. Matamoris was there and was able to knock it away. Bastrop again doing a good job of preventing the big play here. So Lamont Townsend in at quarterback. He's joined in the backfield by Jalen Moore. Townsend takes the snap. It bobbles the snap. Cuts it around the corner before he is met hard there by the Bastrop left cornerback. That is number 25, Damian Piper. Piper laid a nice lick on.
Good open field tackle by Piper. Bring down the running back from Reagan.
So Reagan now ball on the 18-yard line. 4 minutes to go here in the contest. Looks like they're going to go ahead and try another field goal there.
Oh, and we've got a flag. Not sure what that is. Let's see.
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
What was that?
Did he call too many men on the field?
I believe he called too many men on the field. So that's a 5-yard penalty. So Reagan having trouble getting their field goal personnel out on the field in the correct numbers. And they're going to try it again. This would be a 40-yard field goal attempt.
Bastrop actually putting a man back there. You can return these. So Bastrop going to go ahead and try to get a return in if possible. The kick is up, and it's good. Wow. Nice field goal there. Actually,
oh, wow. It looked good from here, but that must have been just barely wide right. So the clock's still moving. 3:20 to go in the game. That's going to be a turnover on the missed field goal. 3:10 to go now. Bastrop up 54-3. This will be the first time in the second half that the Bastrop offense actually had the ball.
Yeah, so the lone touchdown this half coming from Cedric Tarver. As we mentioned earlier, the clock continuing to run here continuously in the second half, both coaches agreeing to do so. We may see just a couple of run plays here for the Bastrop Bears to put this one to bed. And that's exactly what you see. Handoff ball goes to Conrad Pace, the sophomore running back. He dances around in the backfield. Got to take a short loss there. So second down here. 2:21 to go in the contest.
Romello Flores Giles in at quarterback for the Bears.
Giles looking to the sideline. Play clock down to 10 now. They may let this one run all the way down to the Bear minimum. Giles hands the ball off. Again, that's number 20, Conrad Pace. Dives forward. Excuse me, that's actually Damian Piper. So Piper dives forward for a couple yards there.
The coaches over here in the booth next to us have already got their headgear packed up and ready to go and have for quite some time now. So communication from the booth down to the sideline has been non-existent for the second half.
Yeah, definitely. So good night for the Bears. Everybody in high spirits. Giles in at quarterback, takes a snap. It's a keeper. He's going to cut it out to the right, bounce it off. He's got some space. He's off to the races, to midfield, to the 40, to the 30, the 20, 10. Touchdown Bears.
Wow, Romello Flores-Giles really showed some speed there. He outran the entire tired Reagan secondary and just pulled away from them all.
Yeah, Romello Giles is looking, it looks like the play call might have been just to try to get a first down to kind of run this thing out, and the hole just opened up huge there. Giles just took it to the house.
And this point after attempt might be the last play of the game.
Carlos Martinez in to kick the extra point. Kick is up. And a good-looking kick. It's good. So, as the clock winds down and what we think is going to be the last play of the game, Bears take a 61-3 lead over the Austin Reagan Raiders. Woo! It's a mouthful. And we'll just go ahead. We'll hold off before we take a break here. Let this one run down.
Yeah, that's the ball game. That clock with the continuous clock in the second half. Robert, it's only 9:17 p.m. and this ball game is over. 2 hour and 15-minute football game with the clock running continuously in the second half. And a nice win tonight. Bastrop Bears go to 2-0. When was the last time you could say that? Certainly not since, Robert, you and I have been calling these games for our third season now. Good start to the season for Bastrop, and we'll see if they can keep it going next week against Pflugerville Connolly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting next week. Connolly is a team that Bastrop has had some great battles with the last couple of years. If you recall, 2 years ago it came down to the very end, and then last year it also came down to the very end. Was Bastrop almost giving that one away last year to the Connolly Cougars. So we'll be traveling for our first away game next week, and it'll be interesting to see if Bastrop can continue to keep the momentum that they have. Everything looks great. Everything was clicking tonight. Firing on all cylinders. Reagan coming in, not having a great night, looking a little bit confused, a little bit discombobulated. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll bring it back here in just a minute to recap the game. So, once again, real quickly, the Bastrop Bears dominate the Austin Reagan Raiders 61-3. You're listening to Bear Football on KMAX Sports.
Bastrop Bears football on KMAX Sports is proudly sponsored by the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club, with the support of parents, volunteers, and great local businesses that take pride in their community, as well as help from great fans just like you. Your combined donations, contributions, and continued support help keep the Bear tradition alive. Find out more about the Bastrop Bears Touchdown Club and what you can do at bastropbears.org.
Purchase a copy of this or any KMAC broadcast for personal use, and portions of the proceeds go to your school. Whether you're making a highlight video or just want to be able to enjoy this game years in the future, send us a note to info@kmacsports.com. That's info@kmacsports.com. We can even do some editing for you for a small fee. Purchase any broadcast for personal use. Hit us up. info@kmacsports.com. Bringing your teams and your highlights to you. We are KMAC Sports.
Bastrop Bear football on KMAX Sports. Bastrop Bears with a convincing and dominating 61-3 victory over the Austin Reagan Raiders. John, Bastrop just really blew them out from the first play of the game to the last.
Yeah, this wasn't much of a contest tonight. We kind of had a feeling, looking at the score from last week's contest between Cedar Creek and Reagan, of a 31-0 win for Cedar Creek over these same Reagan Raiders, that tonight would be a game that Bastrop could certainly win. But A plus B does not always equal C when you start looking at scores of like opponents. So you never really know what you're going to get. But Bastrop was just all over it tonight. First play from scrimmage, a long pass to Cedric Tarver, who just jumped in the sky, grabbed it out of the air, tiptoed the sidelines, and took it to the house. And that was a foreshadowing of what the rest of the night would look like for the Bastrop Bears tonight. And again, they pull out the win 61-3. Next week will be a Friday night game, so a week and a day from tonight. We'll be at the field in Pflugerville playing Pflugerville-Connolly. That's a team we talked about a little bit earlier tonight. A name that you are going to recognize if you've been paying attention to Bastrop football the last couple seasons is Musiu. He is the quarterback again for Connolly. This is his third year as a starting quarterback for Connolly Cougars. So Musiu, Ernest, I believe, is his first name, will be the quarterback next week for Connolly when Bastrop plays him.
Yeah, so he'll be back for another shot. Connolly winning 2 years ago, and then Bastrop winning it last year. And as we said, Bastrop, these were always really close games, really exciting. Not always the cleanest games that were played, but always really exciting and a good time whenever we play the Connolly Cougars. We'll have to see. Connolly, I think, is going to be a much sterner test next week than Reagan or Rudder has given the Bastrop Bears here in the first two games. Connolly always has a lot of discipline. They're always really tough physically, and they're going to be wanting to bounce back after a tough year last year as well. Player of the game tonight, definitely, I have to say, is Cedric Tarver with 4 touchdowns, 3 on receptions, 1 on a 72-yard kickoff return. All 4 of those just really impressive and electrifying.
Yeah, Cedric had a really good night. The junior looks just so much bigger and faster than everybody else on the field. It's really pretty impressive. And his older brother Tyson, we believe, will be back in action next week against Connolly. And then district play starts after the Connolly game. We go back to the field in Pflugerville 3 weeks from tonight after a bye week. That will start off with Pflugerville-Weiss against the Wolves there. And, you just got to keep saying things are looking good for Bastrop for the start of this 2018 season, and there is reason for optimism in Bear Nation.
Yeah, definitely. Bastrop sending a message to the rest of the district that they were a team to be reckoned with this year, that they've got the pieces in order. As we said in the pregame show, not only do they have the physical talent, I think they've always had that, but this year looking very disciplined, looking very sharp, and Coach Todd Patman has got these guys playing some really good football. So I think we'll just go ahead and sign off there on that one. We'll let everybody get out of here and get home safely. Once again, Bastrop Bears win a big one over the Austin Reagan Raiders, 61-3. Austin will head back and lick their wounds and be ready to meet us next year at Nelson Field. Bastrop is going to be at Pflugerville-Connolly again next Friday night, so we will look forward to having you guys all join us again. Once again, Bastrop wins big, 61-3 over Austin Reagan. You've been listening to Bear Football on KMAX Sports. Good night now.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.